right? Wisershift, welcome to a Thinking Through Tuesday, where I'll dive into different topics, ideas, concept, and you guys give me your thoughts about these things. Today I want to talk about the type of currency. There's two types that we are aware of. Most people are aware of course, whatever state. If you're in the United States, you know about the dollar. And if you in another country, the peso, the yang, the fiat, whatever. Can't recall all the different type of currency, but one thing for sure, it's a piece of paper or note, should I say, that we deem value for representation of what the second type of currency most people probably not aware of is God's money, which is precious metal, your gold, silver, and precious stones, diamond, rubies, and such, right? But the thing is, we forgot the third type of currency, which is stocks or a trader. What I mean by that is that in case a collapse of government or an economy, type of a reset of some sort, if it happens, guess what happened to that paper value that you call money? It goes down. And if there's a short supply of whatever you need, common goods, guess what? There will be an inflation or an increase in price. Now, you got to think about it. Think it through. How much value do you want to put on that piece of paper for the time being? For the time being, it's worth something because you can actually use it in exchange for whatever goods that you need. Refocus. Trying to consider of getting into getting some sort of backup form of currency. And those two things that you should focus on. And I thank God for blessing me with this vision this morning. And also during my PT time, it was in my mind, but I didn't get the full clarity of what he was trying to communicate with me. I'm a Christian, so I'm saying God or Jesus most of the time. If you're not a believer, excuse it, but I'm not sorry about it because that's what I believe in. And it's good knowledge anyhow. Take it. So the other form of currency that you should definitely consider of saving and have it in your back pocket to make sure that if something do happen to this government or there's inflation, you still have something of value. And those two type of currency as backup you should consider, besides men money or the world's money, which is the piece of paper which we call a dollar here in America. The other type is your precious stones, aka God's money. And if you're not a believer, the creator's money, however you want to label it. But those are the things that's naturally was in the ground via, if you think about it, ground itself, where we have to dig it up and process it, or the earth created this, it was already in the earth, so to speak, like your precious stones, your diamonds, your rubies and such, right? They had to go through a process to become what they are, and they deemed valuable. And no matter what country that you're in, you know what I'm saying, or time, your gold, your precious metal, your gold, silver, it fluctuates in value, but at the end of the day, they still hold value no matter what, right? Last but not least, a form of trading. You got to consider that. What have you done in your lifetime thus far that you inquire that have value? Think about it. Men and women, during our lifetime, we acquire assets. Those who own homes, that's an asset. Once you pay it off, that's an asset. Farmers, once they have crops and livestock, that's asset. They can trade or use these things to acquire other material goods. So think it through. What do you have that fall in that category? that's an asset. A lot of us are in debt and have not acquired valuable asset. So think about it. It hit me hard this morning, and I'm thinking, wow, I have a family now. I have a newborn, 2 months old, and my wife is someone who I'm supposed to be leading, but yet I'm looking at my debt so far, which is not much, $15,000, but as a married couple, I'm looking like, oh, dude, I'm big on number, but yet I don't focus on it. But when my wife do the budget and I'm looking at like our debt and income ratio, it kind of like, get me into a bind and thinking like, wow, I need to do better. So my goal is to just inquire valuable assets, and also considering other form of currency such as precious metals and stones, because once the economy going to what it's going to get to, or whatever state is going to be, because remember, the world is constantly changing, and if you don't if you don't adapt to the changes, you do either gonna die with it, because you're stuck in the past, or you're gonna adapt and move forward with it. Remember, change is inevitable. So it got me thinking, what do I need to do to acquire asset in those two forms of currency? Because I got a job, I can hustle and side hustle, which I already been doing, taking photos and doing videos and such, and I can make that money in that form. But have you think about the other form of currency that has value? Because at the end of the day, that note, that dollar that's supposed to represent that precious metal, guess what? It's being printed like it's nothing. The pandemic just happened in 2020. You see how much money that was printed, and that was supposed to represent some form of precious metal, which is in our case it's gold. And there's no way we have trillions of dollars worth of gold or mine that amount, to have that piece of paper to represent it. And guess what's going to happen? Inflation going to take place. So when inflation takes place, guess what? The amount of money that you're working for, the service that you render, and for exchange of that piece of paper, it'll deem invaluable, because it's not going to make sense, if you know what I mean. And I'm not using pun. But if you really think it through, that piece of paper is soon to be worthless, if not already. So consider that, trying to acquire different form of assets. And if you are someone who in a digital, if you love the whole technology thing and you're changing, you trading stocks or even cryptocurrency, that's good. Because right now what you're doing is diversify your portfolio in a way of acquire different assets. But if you're not really considering the other part, and you just focus on working and getting, chasing a piece of paper, which is the dollar, you're soon to find yourself in deep trouble. Because once that dollar, lose some of its value and you have to acquire more, the time, you can't get more time. There's only 24 hours in a day. So either you're going to sacrifice more of it, or you're going to figure out another way to acquire different asset. And my next goal is to get a house. So it's going to be a challenge, but yet, I'm up for it, because I want to diversify my portfolio in terms of getting different form of assets. So consider those things. So I thank God for blessing me with that information this morning during my physical training. And also when I went to sleep and woke up before work, and I'm like, oh man, it hit me. And you probably heard of these things before, but let this serve as a reminder. Please, Wisershifters, inquire different form of assets. And you'll be glad you did, because when poop hit the fan, at least you can barter and trade with others, either your skills or your precious stones and metal. And you'll be glad that you did, because if something do go down, guess what? You have a form of currency that you can exchange with others to keep living for a better life. Wisershift, thank you for your time. I love you guys. Remember, our goal is shifting the mind, body, and soul. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video.